powerful tools to gain victory over self-sabotage and get enlightened about relationships. So tune in to CRN for Divine Love Talk right here on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
So tune in to CRN1 for Divine Love Talk, Mondays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, right here on CRN Digital Talk Radio. And now, live from New York City via Los Angeles, California, it's time for The View from Over Here with the man who has a view for all seasons, your host, Stan Weisleder.
Good morning, Stan.
We're live? Okay.
Well, I don't know about you. I am.
Well, I have to be live. I'm in Las Vegas right now.
That's a lot of craps.
Not a lot of crap.
No, not crap. Craps. Anyway.
So they play crap here. That's about it.
and we're and welcome to The View from Over Here, heard on CRN Talk. Okay, go ahead. .com. Yeah,
and where are we broadcast from?
Beautiful downtown Sunland. I don't know if there's an uptown Sunland.
Uptown, downtown, I think there's just one part, and that's it.
Well,
anyway, let's not get into Sunland, because, anyway, let's get to the news of the week.
Okay. Shoot.
Okay, Jonas, our reviewer, Jonas Schwartz, is not with us today to offer his incisive reviews. So I thought, in his place, that I would offer my opinions regarding the new movie, Unbroken.
Okay, I'm game. Go for it.
All right, you're game. Good. I read the book when it first came out, and it was such an incredible book. I could not wait to see it on the big screen. Now, I'm not a professional reviewer, but all I can say is that I liked it on all aspects, on all planes. It was very good. It was excellent. And those reports of verbal clashes between certain executives and the film's director, Angelina Jolie, if they are true, they cannot be due to any lack of talent on her part, but rather a clash of egos. While films rarely, if ever, accomplish everything that is in the book, I believe that this one, that Louis Zamperini wrote, covered just about all of the incredible yet true tale of redemption, sacrifice, and survival. It was amazing what he went through.
Did you know that script or the potential movie had been floating around Hollywood, I think, for at least 20 years?
Well, then that would have been before the book was written. It's very possible. Many good movies take a long time to come to fruition. I remember the movie Platoon. The author Oliver Stone was trying to sell it for like 10 years before anyone even listened to him.
Well, the funny story I like is, I don't know if you remember the movie To Hell and Back.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
sure.
It was Audie Murphy was I think the single most decorated soldier in World War II.
Yep, that he was.
And he tried out for the part, but they didn't like him because he didn't look the type. But it was but he eventually starred in the movie.
Yeah, he eventually played himself.
But they
lousy
didn't want to give
actor,
it to him.
But hell of a soldier. Hey, it'll be 2015 in a couple of more days.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, that means we'll be 15 years into the third millennium. And that's when we, or as they say, civilization, quote unquote, started keeping track of the years. And aside from all of the advances in science over those years, I don't think people have progressed any in the past 2015 years. Did you ever read The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire?
Years ago.
Okay, Edward Gibbon's masterpiece. He rolls the clock back some 2,000 years from today, but you know what? In his masterpiece, he is critical of organized religion. And that may be why his book did not get as wide respect as you would think it would have.
Could be. I don't know if there's a breakdown of people who read books and how religious they are. That would be an interesting study.
Well, maybe. Well, he tells of, back at that time, there being 300 superstitions in existence. And he meant 300 different religions. And he also said that...
He meant superstitions.
Yeah, he called them superstitions. And yet no one cared or bothered if anyone believed in one superstition or another. It wasn't until the Roman Empire, which was the most powerful entity in the Western world, declared that Christianity shall henceforth be the established religion for all, even though it was an offshoot of Judaism.
That's after they killed Christ.
Yeah, yes, like 325 years after or something like that. And that's when the problems began that still exist today. And about 1,000 years ago, the Christians embarked on their crusades. They gave up, but the Muslims, they appear to be still fighting that war. And if we go ahead, fast forward 1,000 years, I see 2 different bumper stickers on different cars in different parking lots. And each of them uses the different religious symbols that are around in the world to spell out the word coexist or tolerance.
Coexist or desist?
A very simple message that appears to be too complicated for most people. So
no, the problem is that there's certain religions that if you don't abide by that religion, you just have to be killed.
You die. You die. Yeah. Well,
we're not saying what religion we're talking about, but I want our show to be politically correct.
Well, politically correct, yeah, I think it is up to a point. But I have to tell you, you probably remember when I first started working on this show, and you probably agree also, that most people, they are either partially or completely ignorant of what has happened or is happening in the world. I
agree.
And I just don't understand it. And it became painfully aware to me that we live in a bell-curved world in every aspect of our life. So at one point, one person's BS, and if you go to the other end of the spectrum, it's the other person's gospel truth. But I think most of us live in the middle of the curve.
Well, all you have to do is, if you have cable TV, tune on CNN, listen to that for a few hours, then go to Fox News, listen to that for a few hours, and it's almost an about face.
There's always room for opinion, as long as it doesn't include killing everyone.
But the thing is, the opinion is not broadcast as opinion, it's being broadcast as news. And that's a total misnomer. It's not news.
I'm going to cut the news short because I don't really like the news that we have out there. It's nothing but negativity.
Okay, tell me something about Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is growing, and it's coming to making a resurgence after the recession, and that seems to be doing well. A lot of new stuff opening up. They have their own art center for the performing arts. They're trying to become the city of the future.
But tell me, why would you go to Las Vegas if you don't gamble and you don't go to shows?
It's a nice city. It's new. It's clean air, a lot of things to see. You could go see shows. You don't have to gamble, and you can still have a good time in Vegas.
But I find out when I go, the show, if you want a good show, they're so expensive. I mean, you're talking about a few $100s a ticket.
Yeah, and that's all the fault of Barbara Streisand when she came into town a few years back, and she upped the ante. Like, I know we went to see it, and stupidly we paid $300 a pop.
Oh my God!
Some people paid even more. But that set a new baseline, and since then everybody's been charging more.
But Barbara, if you're listening to the show, you can comment on this, and
or you can hang up. And also, you have to remember, Las Vegas is no longer run by the people that used to run it. It's all corporate run, and corporations, they have to have a profit in every aspect of a hotel's operation. Even the men's room has to show a profit.
You mean the
coffee shop, the pool, the cabana, you name it, everything.
Yeah, in the good old days, all they had to do was skim off the top, and it was non-taxable.
Yeah, it was so easy then. Everybody who I talked to, everybody, without fail, without exception, they all like it better the old way. Everybody.
Well, as I think we were talking, the problem that I find, Las Vegas is now more like going to Disneyland. Everybody's there with a family wearing their cutoffs and T-shirts and flip-flops, even when they go to major shows. When I first started going there 30 years ago,
you had to dress up.
You had to get jacket and tie to go into casinos.
Yeah, you couldn't come in like a slob with a cut-open T-shirt with your hairy armpits showing and walking in with flapper sandals.
Yeah, you sound like the hairy Brad Pitt, not Brad Pitt. What's the commercial, Rob Lowe? The hairy Rob Lowe. Anyway.
Well, one more item I just wanted to touch on before we get to our guests. This is something for people to think about. And a lot of times I talk about science fiction. And I know that the science fiction of 100 or even 60 years ago was considered as childish nonsense or, completely impossible. But we've already exceeded that with no end in sight. So we are approaching what is referred to as, it's a scientific concept called a singularity. And what that means is when our continued scientific progress keeps going on, it will eventually exceed our human capacity to intellectually deal with the science. What happens then? Do the machines take over and we become obsolete?
That's happening now. When I go to program my cell phone or the smartphone or the smart TV, I have to get my kids to do it because I don't understand what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, all right. Enough of the news because we don't want to bore our listeners. So let's get to our first guest before we run out of time.
Okay. You do the introductions.
No, you do the introduction.
No, you do it.
No, you do it.
I am not sure. I don't have paper. You usually do it.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. First guest, they told me originally it was going to be Joe Franklin.
No, Joe
and then we switched. And our first guest, let's Paul have him on the phone.
Yeah.
Pete DeLorenzo. Pete DeLorenzo.
DeLorenzo.
Okay, that's a guy who's been there and done that. There isn't anything that he hasn't done in the entertainment business. I want you to know that, Malcolm, okay?
Well, I'm going to find it out directly from him. Pete, are you on the phone?
Yes, gentlemen, I'm with you. How are you, Stanley and Malcolm?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, we're okay, and what would you like to talk about today? Oh, well, first, before we even talk about anything, do you have a website that you want our listeners, or can they, look you up and find out all about you, where you're appearing, what you're doing, and so forth? Do you have a book that you've written that you want to sell?
My name. It's www.PeteDeLorenzo.com. That's Pete, short for Peter, P-E-T-E.
Spell DeLorenzo.
Wait a minute, Pete is short for Peter? I never knew that.
Yeah, Pete, short for Peter, so it's P-E-T-E. D as in David, E-L as in Larry, O-R as in Robert, E-N as in Nancy, Z like zebra, O.com, PeteDeLorenzo.com.
I was only kidding about the name.
And I'm on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all other networks, and there's always there a lot about my upcoming film and concert dates and performances and my profile.
Pete,
bio.
what do you like to best be known as?
Wow, that's a pretty loaded question. I would have to honestly answer that. I've been asked on many interviews, what would you want to be remembered for? And that's kind of along the same line that what I'm best known for. I guess my main forte, the gift that God gave me, is doing voices as an impressionist. To date, I know it's at least over 180 voices.
Wow.
I do a joke. I said I'm schizophrenic, and so am I.
well, Pete, hold on to that thought and let me know what you want on your tombstone. But anyway, you're listening to The View from Over Here, heard on crntalk.com, and we're coming directly from beautiful downtown Sunland, California, and from Las Vegas, Nevada. And stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Pete.
The next time you're in Southern California, visit the Riviera Restaurant in Calabasas. Riviera, as the name implies, is the ultimate in Calabasas restaurants. There's not even a close second. And what's better suited for the Beverly Hills of the Valley than a Beverly Hills type of restaurant and watering hole without those ridiculous Beverly Hills prices? They're so good. With impeccable service, they probably don't even need this commercial. Even now, it's hard to get a good table except for off hours. But if you really want to treat yourself or your date, call 818-224-2163. That's 818-224-2163. That's the Riviera Restaurant in Calabasas, California.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kvhmaui.com. That's kvhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms. The new year is upon us. 2015 is just around the corner. The View from Over Here still has a few sponsorship openings available for the new year. But don't delay. Contact Malcolm Burman at 818-687-2784 or email him at malcolm@viewfromoverhere.com before it's too late. For mere pennies, you can reach an upscale audience on internet radio, apps on your phone, cable TV, and at home. Go to viewfromoverhere.com to see and hear the live show. Again, that phone number 818-687-2784 or email malcolm@viewfromoverhere.com.
One day I'm going to let this,
Contact Malcolm Burman at 818-687-2784.
what is that? One day I'm going to let this whole symphony play. Stan, are you there?
I'm here.
You sure you didn't fall asleep? Peter, you there?
No,
Yes, I'm with you, Jim.
I'm listening to the program on my iPad, and there's still an 8 or 10 second delay.
Pete, as I say in everything, what would you like on your tombstone, or would you like a tombstone?
Well, I mean, I'm a very humble man. I guess everybody usually gets some kind of a headstone or a tombstone, but when it's my time and God calls me, I would have to say, let me be remembered for the man. You know, people being in the public's eye when you're a public figure, and I say that humbly, you know, they see you as, you know, your talent and the entertainer, but I have always tried to put peace and love into the world, and it's a gift to be able to go to that stage and bring laughter and joy to people, which is a healing agent. And I've said this many times in interviews that, you know, whether it's on that stage, bringing them laughter, it's not about me, it's about the audience. They're the people that pay to come in and see you. And, you know, I see the mother who's sick with a child sick, or I see the guy that's out of work, or I see the couple going through a divorce. So it's their time, not mine. And I would like to be remembered for the man, the person, from my heart. And, that, you know, though they could give you all the accolades and say what a great entertainer, you know, you are, and this and that. Let them remember me that I tried to.
Hey guys, I got to say that it's weird,
you know,
talking and listening to the program at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's probably about a 15-second delay from when we talk and it's on the air,
Okay, how's that? I was on speaker. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I hear you guys fine, but I just wanted to say it's weird having to listen to the show on an iPad and then be on it.
Yeah, it might be because you're on iPad. Yeah, it's modern technology, right? But I got off speaker. Maybe it's a little bit clearer that way.
Because they intentionally have a delay in case we either accidentally or on purpose drop an F-bomb.
In your case, in your case, it's on purpose.
Better known as a cough switch. Yep.
Malcolm, you said I do it on purpose?
You do it on purpose.
Well, that's only to see if Paul is asleep in the control room, just testing him.
There you go. Well, that'll work.
You're just a vulgar man from Brooklyn.
Sorry. What can I say? Hey, Pete, listen, I started to ask you before, what would you like to be best known as after all of the things that you've done?
Well, I think pretty much like what I said. Let them, know me as not only the entertainer, but a man who I've dedicated my life to trying to touch the lives of others. And, being a humanitarian is probably foremost. I mean, yes, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, impressionist, recording artist, but foremost, try and stand in this crazy world that we're living in. And I caught your comments earlier, and it's so disheartening to listen to the news at times, most of the time.
So you want to be a nice guy in spite of all of us.
Yeah, well, as an artist, people maybe will stop and listen, and some of them do it for the notoriety, some of them do it for the self-absorption, but, I basically try to put the good out there to people,
When do you think they'll stop and listen?
Oh, that's a good question, Stanley. I wonder. If some people do, and Helen Keller coined that phrase that God gave us 2 ears to listen more than we speak, and I wonder how many people do stop to take the time out of the day to appreciate the good things, the simple things in life, which is much of what's going into my upcoming film, that, the best things in life are free when you have your health, when you have your loved ones, you got money in the bank, so to speak. My film is, the title is The Mentor.
All right, and is that going to be on a mass release or internet?
No, it's not. No, we didn't get into production yet. We're very close now. I've been dealing with the investors, and we're right on the threshold now of
you have
funds.
A part in it for me?
Oh, I'd be honored to put you in. I mean, you're a living legend, and, you spoke with Joe Franklin. I speak with him almost every day. I spoke with him this morning, and he says, no, I did stand show already. I says, yeah, but I thought you were going to be on today.
I taped him in October when I was in New York, and
he says, well, if he wants to call me, I'll chime in. I said, I thought you were going to be on the air with me, because in real life, Stanley, he is, I would say, a mentor to me in every sense of the word. When I started my career early in 1971 on the streets of New York, born and bred in New Jersey, but New York is my city, best city in the world, and, it was Joe Franklin that discovered me and virtually launched my career, and I'm so honored to have that man in my life.
Well, that's the guy who invented the radio interview.
Yeah, he was the one that started the whole concept of talk show radio, and then TV.
I think he has probably done more interviews than Barbara Walters and Larry King put together.
He says over 30,000.
Oh, absolutely. He's gone in the Guinness World Book of Records of being noted as doing the most interviews in the history of radio and TV, and presidents and stars, even silent, movie stars that made the transition into the talkies, and he had Eddie Cantor on radio.
And anyway, Pete, we're come to the end of this segment, and we have to save the rest for Joe, which is coming up next. So thank you very much. When you're in LA, please come in. Let us know what's happening. Come into the station.
Oh, absolutely. I would be very honored to, meet you in person, and I want to thank you and all your listeners.
Okay, I have to cut you off there. You're listening to...
God bless and Happy New Year.
The View from Over Here. Stand quiet. The View from Over Here. .com. And we'll be back in a few minutes. Bye.
The Trees, an epic novel by Stan Weisleder, told in the Godfather fashion, with 2/3 of the book taking place in Las Vegas and describing the transition from the mob to Howard Hughes to corporate America. This book is Las Vegas. Jim Santangelo from the International Brotherhood of Teamsters said, I didn't grow up in New York or Las Vegas. I grew up in Jersey City, but I know everyone in this book. I loved it. Hal Rothbart, publisher, says, I wish I had written it. The Trees by Stan Weisleder.
How would you like to taste the most delicious meatballs this holiday season? You can with our friend Larry Manetti's Meatballs, as seen on QVC. Go to QVC.com and search Manetti Meatballs. These are hand-rolled 3 ounces each meatballs, 30 in a bag, made with veal, beef, pork, spices, breadcrumbs, imported ricotta and Romano cheese. They are delicious. Manetti's meatballs, fried in pure Italian olive oil. They come frozen. You can heat and serve them in a 350-degree oven for just 10 to 15 minutes. They'll make a real hit this holiday season. Taste Larry Manetti's meatballs. Larry Manetti from Hawaii 5-0 and Magnum PI. He was on QVC and he sold out of these meatballs. Go to QVC.com and search Manetti Meatballs. That's QVC.com, Manetti, M-A-N-E-T-T-I, Meatballs. QVC.com, search Manetti Meatballs, the real taste of Italy.
Do you have unfiled tax returns or owe the IRS or state more than $10,000? If you don't take action now, your tax problem is going to get worse. Much worse. Seizure of property, bank levies, wage garnishments, and potential criminal prosecution. And if you owe the IRS back payroll taxes, chances are you will be visited at your home or business by an IRS agent. Don't become paralyzed by fear. Take action now. Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield for help. Our team of experienced tax attorneys can get you protected, stop collections, and negotiate a permanent settlement with the IRS and state, potentially saving you thousands of dollars. At U.S. Tax Shield, our tax advisors will review your case for free, inform you of your rights, and give you a guaranteed quote. No games and no tricky upsells. That's why we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. Put an end to your torment. Get protected. Get the Shield. Call U.S. Tax Shield now at 800-211-8753. That's 800-211-8753. 800-211-8753.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system worth $850 is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
This morning, Sandra Sneed wrote a joyful status. This miss is a soon-to-be Mrs. Over 300 friends liked her engagement post, and it got 76 comments. Sandra, you're one popular gal. Geico also has a comment on your status. Did you know you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance in just 15 minutes by switching to Geico? Just the way we're trying to help cushion a nice little nest egg for the future misses. Hashtag getting hitched. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is Stan Weisleder on The View from Over Here, and I am in the working office of Joe Franklin, a man who needs no introduction. He's been in the radio and TV interviewing business since almost forever. In fact, one of his buddies, Arnold Wachtel, said that Joe even interviewed Moses when he parted the Red Sea. Of course, that's Arnold's version. But in any event, I'm here in Joe's office, and I've been here before, and nothing has changed over the years. It is piled high with books and records you can't imagine, but Joe knows where everything is.
It's a pleasure to be back on your program. Last time I was on Stan, I got very good reaction. I got good results. The ratings were high. Sometimes I think the ratings are outrated, but in your case, the ratings were very much justified, and I was very honored to be.
That's very nice of you to say that, Joe. Tell me, Joe, how long have you been in the interviewing business?
I would say close to 70 years.
Holy mackerel. That's almost as old as me.
Makes you a baby. Makes you a baby, right?
Now, which came first? I guess the radio came first and then TV afterwards.
Well, I was in the Army. Believe it or not, I was in the Army in the Second World War, and I was in the infantry. And
did you see action?
I fell down during the obstacle course. I fell down and twisted my ankle during the 16th week of the obstacle course. And I was sent, my entire group was sent to to the Battle of the Belgian Bulge, all wiped out, very sad. It was human sacrifice. I was the only one not sent there because I had the accident on my knee. I went to the hospital. And
it wasn't your time.
God was with me, right? Somebody was with me.
Somebody was. Somebody saved your butt.
So I sent home for some old records. I was collecting old records as a kid of Henry Burr and Billy Murray and Al Jolson and Eddie Cantor. And they sent me the record, which I began playing on the radio, on a hospital radio station. I called my program The Young Wreck with the Old Records. The Young Wreck with the Old Records.
Got it.
And it was written up in Stars and Stripes, got a lot of publicity. And I got out of the army, got an honorable discharge. And I got back into the city, and I got a call from a station called WHOM, and I was on the air every Sunday with a program called Joe Franklin's Vaudeville Echo. I was playing my old records, and then one day I get a phone call from WNEW. And I said, Joe, we heard you on the radio, and we like the way you sound. We'd like to offer you a program on our. We'll give you double the money. You're getting double. I said, and I was getting paid zero.
Well, double zero. That's an improvement.
I had to think fast. I got $15 a show. So they hired me. I was out there 7 nights a week, making $30 a night for 7 nights a week. It wasn't bad. Then the number one disc jockey of all time who worked here, his name was Martin Block. Remember a program called The Make Believe Ballroom?
I remember Martin Block, sure.
So his record picker got fired for some reason. They asked me if I wanted to be the record picker. So I became Martin Block's record picker. That was a big thrill in my life. I was told to go in the lobby, Joe. Bring in Frank Sinatra, bring in Dinah Shore, bring in Benny Goodman, bring in Tommy Dorsey, bring in Harry James, bring in Vaughn Monroe. So, and Martin got me a meeting at WABC. There was a thing called WJZ TV, and it was later on became WABC TV. But Joe, we heard you on the radio. We're contemplating doing some daytime program. There was no day in those days. TV was on the air from about 5 at night until sermonette. There was no daytime. So they said, if we give you an hour a day, show, might you do it if we offer you an hour a day? I said, just talking to people, nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball, doing ordinary conversation. I said, Joe, you're nuts. You can't do it. The word is television. You got to give them vision. You got to give them seltzer bottles, baggy pants. You got to give them burlesque kids. You got to give them beautiful girls. So I was very crushed, but I defied them. And in fact, rock and roll was coming in. I said, I'm going to do a show of kids dancing to records. I said, Joe, now we know you're not. So who's going to watch kids dance to records?
Who would think?
Dick Clark comes along. He was a multi-millionaire. Dick Clark took my idea, but I defied them. I did the first TV talk show, and I did that for 43 years on Channel 7, and later on Channel 9, called Joe Franklin's Memory Lane. I had 500,000 guests. Stan. I had Ronald Reagan 5 times. I had Dick Nixon twice. I had John Wayne. I had Cary Grant. I had Charlie Chaplin in person. I had Marilyn Monroe, with whom I wrote a famous book. I had.
How did you get those guests? Did you have to look for them, or did they come to you?
That's a great question. They came to me because they know that on my show they're going to get a good plug. I never forgot the plug. That's my advice to young people want to break in this business. I always say, get the plug out of the way. Look in their eyes and get that plug, because they're going to be afraid you're not going to mention the book or the plug. Mention the plug, and then they're more at ease.
Well, since you're a young guy, this is a good plug for you on our program.
I appreciate it. I always tell you, no matter what program you're on, if big or small, somebody important could be listening, right? So you never know.
You never know who's listening.
I had Bing Crosby twice. I had Frank Sinatra twice. Everybody but Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was a dear friend. We go to movie retrospectives of hers, but she wouldn't appear anywhere. She wanted to be alone.
She became a recluse.
In a sense, yeah. She made a movie once, I think, called Two-Faced Woman. She saw the movie. She said, I made enough faces, I quit. She just quit, and she wouldn't. She was offered a blank check signed. She could fill out her own amount as you go on TV and make a movie, but she wouldn't do that.
She quit at her prime, actually.
That's right. Well, she's what they call frozen in time. Marilyn Monroe died. That's her.
Yeah.
We think of the way they always looked. They were old now to be.
I try to imagine what she would look like now
90s,
if she were alive.
90s and wrinkled and sad. So they are, in a sense, they're frozen in time. You're right about that. So, and I retired after 43 years, and I had a big ceremony. I had a big 40th anniversary special. There's a picture on the wall up there, and then I get a phone call from Mayor Bloomberg. He said, Joe, well, I got a big radio station here. I like your voice, I like your personality. And I've been on there 21 years now doing interviews on Bloomberg Radio. This week I've got...
You've been with Bloomberg 21 years?
21 years. Since I quit.
Does he pay on time?
Pays a lot of money, yeah. He's worth $37 billion. I said, let's go. I said, Mike, You got 37. I got to work 6 weeks that kind of money. 37 billion. You got a kick out of that. He was very happy.
Is he a nice guy?
The nicest guy that ever lived. He gives so much to charity. Very philanthropic. And
well, while you're on Bloomberg, real quick, off the side kind of question. You're a resident of New York City. What do you think of the mayor that you guys have now?
I'm not that excited right now about de Blasio, but I think he'll get better. He's a little bit behind in his promises.
Well, that's okay. I guess he still has to get his feet wet.
Yeah, he's a very tall man, 6'6".
Yeah, I've seen pictures of him. Never met him.
Even taller than
Big guy.
You're taller than you and me together. You're right.
You're probably right.
So he's a nice guy, but I always tell the young people who want to get in this business, people really wants to see the longevity in my profession where the mortality rate is so staggering. I say the main thing is sincerity. And once you learn to fake that, then you got it made.
Once you got to fake that, that's cute.
So
that's
I get a lot of...
In fact, I know people that remember listening to you when they were kids. They say, oh, Joe Franklin, you're interviewing Joe Franklin. Wow. They couldn't get over that I would be interviewing you.
Yeah, I turned down most interviews, Stan, but I enjoyed being with you last time. And I walk in the streets, everybody jumps on me. Joe Franklin, I learned so much from you. I learned culture, I learned Americana, I learned movie stars, I learned... and the funny, I met a man last week, he says to me, Joe, I always liked your show because you had on the big celebrities. But most of what I liked was when you put on the fading ones that are going into obscurity and they get their last little glow in the spotlight on your show. It's a very sentimental thing.
Well, we tried that. In fact, my kids, obviously they're a lot younger than me, they never heard of most of the guests that I have on. Like, for instance, we had a singer who originally came from out on the island. We had him on a few weeks ago, Peter Lemongello. You probably know.
A very dear friend of mine, a good singer.
Okay.
He was in his heyday, he was number one.
Yes, so I mentioned to one of my daughters, and she said, Peter, who? In fact, that same daughter, when I mentioned Frank Sinatra to her, she thinks Frank Sinatra is classical music.
Listen,
she's the type that likes the Grateful Dead.
Stan, fame is fleeting. I mean,
yes.
Maybe except for Elvis Presley, whom I discovered, by the way, he was on my show one time with Anne Margaret Olsen, who later on dropped the Olsen that she became Anne Margaret. And in fact, about 20 years later, they made a movie together called It Happened in Las Vegas.
I remember that movie.
But that was his first time on TV. And I always say that... what do I always say? I always say that it's good to get people to do takeoff. Billy Crystal did me on Saturday Night Live, did Joe Franklin on Saturday Night Live for 4 years. He did a takeoff on Joe Franklin's show. First time I saw Billy Crystal doing me, you know what I said? I said, Billy, one of us is lousy. But this week on Bloomberg, I'm interviewing Fabian, the entertainer.
Of course.
I used to do a big concert. I was the host many times at a big
He's
concert.
He's from Philadelphia, right?
Right, same block as Bobby Vinton and all those kids. And I got Barbara Eden from Dream of Jeannie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got
Barbara Eden, sure.
I got June Lockhart from Lassie and did Lost in Space. I got Lindsay Wagner, Bionic Woman.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yes, we got Paul Anker, I had Neil Sedaka, I had Bobby Vinton, I had great guests. So gotta keep the name value up there, otherwise
absolutely.
You're held on only by the ratings. Sometimes the ratings are outrated, but the ratings are important.
Now, when you have them come to your recording studio at the Bloomberg building, I understand that the security there is like Fort Knox.
Worse. That's why they can't get in the building. You got to have a pass. Even the mayor's got to have a pass to get in that building. Mayor Bloomberg needs a pass to get to his own building. But that's why I always chat with him on the telephone. But it's a great means of communication, and I'm always besieged by people who want me to do a lecture called So You Want to Be a Talk Show Host, which I'm considering. I'm writing a book, I think, called that, So You Want to Be a Talk Show Host. I've written 23 books, you know.
Yes.
And they're all very big sellers. My last book sold 75,000 copies. And they're all in my house. No, I'm kidding.
Great.
They sold very well.
Now, do you actually live in Manhattan or in one of the surrounding areas?
I'm in New York. I live very close to the studio. I'm a New York boy. Born and bred in the Bronx alongside Tony Curtis. He was my best friend, Tony.
Oh, yeah, of course. In fact, I went to his 80th birthday party in Las Vegas. So, anyway, anything you'd like to say, add? Anything you want to ask me about our guests or what we do or whatever?
I will just say it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. I've been nice.
You know, you're absolutely right. I know important people that are not nice.
I gave the first exposure. Nobody disclosed anyway, but I did give the first exposure on TV to Barbara Streisand, to Steve
Allen.
Well, that's... So the main thing is... a lot of these stars don't come back. They see me on the streets. They walk on the other. They don't want to be reminded of days when they were broke. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Bill Cosby is the nice. Bill Cosby always came back.
That's not nice.
That's not nice. That's why I say it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. You know?
Absolutely.
I was thinking the other day of a man. Somebody told me that one of his favorite guests ever on my show was Georgie Jesselin. Remember Georgie Jesselin?
Of course, I remember.
He was on about 150 times. Georgie made his money doing eulogies. He did about 5 eulogies a day. He would always give the exact same speech. He would say, ladies and gentlemen, my dearest friend, my beloved friend, my childhood friend, I want to miss this man so much, my very dear. And one day they called him a little bit over. He said, oh my God, I knew this man. That's what you call it hypocrisy institutionalized, right?
So that's how he made his living, by doing eulogies.
And my anchor lady for about a year and a half was remember the name Veronica Lake?
Of course, she was a damn good-looking lady.
Peekaboo hairdo.
Oh, wow.
She was dead broke when I met her. She was living in a hotel, Martha Washington, a women's hotel.
What happened to her career? She died after 47 or 48.
And those years she was making $10,000 a week. That was like like $100,000 now.
I remember one of her first movies, I Wanted Wings, came out around 1940.
With Ray Milland, with everybody.
And she stole every scene that she was in.
She was a doll.
But what happened to her career?
Same as Betty Hutton. She was making the same kind of money. I
remember her also.
They think the fame is going to always be with them, but they marry husbands who abscond the money, and those things happen.
I've heard that before.
So they keep an eye on them. In 1947, she was probably the highest salary movie star in the world. In 1951, they came to her house and picked her up physically and put her in the gutter for not paying her income tax. You know,
wow.
So life.
Well, anyway, just a quick break here. This is Stan Weisleder on The View from Over Here, broadcast on crntalk.com. And I am interviewing now a man who actually needs no introduction because he's been doing this, interviewing stuff, way before I even knew what an interview was. And his name is Joe Franklin. So, Joe, how much more time can you give me? Because we could talk for hours and hours. But I know you got other things to do.
Do 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Okay.
Ask me my favorite guest.
Okay, I was just thinking about
out of the half
Who was your favorite guest?
Out of the $500,000 that I had to stand, out of the $500,000, I would say Bing Crosby. I always thought of Bing.
Really? Bing Crosby? I've heard bad things about him.
Nah, it's not true. The kids wrote those things to make books.
Okay, got it. Well, tell me, Joe, how many times a week are you on?
I'm on all day and all night, 7 days a week on Bloomberg.
All day and all night. How much of that is live and how much of it is recorded?
Always on tape. You can't get in that building without a security card.
Wow.
Even the mayor needs a security card.
Well, the mayor that you have now, okay, I can go along with that. I haven't heard anything good about him yet. In fact, when I was coming from the airport from JFK to Midtown, I just happened to talk to the cab driver, and I said, how's your new mayor doing? He said, terrible. I said, terrible in what? And he said, everything. But anyway, let's not get into politics.
What a
That's not what the program is about.
What a testimonial, huh?
Yes. Anyway, Joe, I want to thank you very much for taking the time.
I enjoyed this. Do invite me back, and you'll come on my show someday.
Tell me when, and I'll be here. I'll drop everything and come here.
Like the old days of Bing Crosby and Bob Hope.
Absolutely.
All the reciprocals. Okay, get it?
Okay, Joe. Joe, I thank you again. Thank you very much.
Stand up.
A Killer of Lions by Stan Weisleder. There were 4 squadrons of black fighter pilots during World War II that had to fight 2 air forces in order to gain recognition, the Luftwaffe and the U.S. Army Air Corps. The HBO special and the recent attempt at a full-length feature film do not come close to the full and true story of these brave men. They were not ball players, they were not rap singers, they were fighter pilots and American heroes in the truest sense. A Killer of Lions by Stan Weisleder.
Let me take just a moment or two, if I may, and talk about a great place to eat. That's right, for you folks anywhere in the eastern San Fernando Valley, drop into Bob's Big Boys. That's right, in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. Now, everybody remembers the name Bob's. They're getting bigger and bigger every day, and little old Bob carrying the hamburger in his checkered overalls is the same Bob that you remember from back through the years. And, of course, if you want to go in for a great lunch, remember their classic burger, the original double-deck hamburger combination. Delicious 100% pure ground beef in 2 patties with American cheese, lettuce, and our famous Big Boy's special sauce. The name is Bob, and I think when you go in, you'll say, by golly, I'm sure glad that I found this restaurant because it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They've got all kinds of things, and all you have to do is remember. Bob's Big Boy in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. It's a great place to eat.
Transitions are tough. When hopes and plans are tested. The musical Into the Woods tackles the time when something troubling can't be ignored. That's when building up your emotional reserves is vital. I always feel better when I play my bass guitar. I'm not thinking or worried. I just am. Stephen Sondheim's musical also reminds us to reach out to people, for truly, we are not alone.
Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so.
That's Primetime Focus, brought to you by AARP. I'm Aileen Ellis.
On your side. No one is alone.
Someday there'll be a cure. Someday we won't lose the people we love. But when is someday? Someday is today. Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, hundreds of thousands diagnosed with blood cancer are today living a normal life. We're making cures happen. Join us. Call 888-HELP-LLS. Go to LLS.org. Help us reach today sooner.
Okay, Stan, we have a few minutes to wind the new year. That was a good
interview. Yeah, that was, I thought that was okay.
That was a good interview. You could become the new Joe Franklin.
I put in dibs for his job already. But he says he's going to live to 120, so that's a long wait.
Well, I mean, it's only another 30 years. You got time, or 40 years.
Yeah, I may get interested in something else by then.
Anyway, what I wanted to mention, because I know my friend Mark is going to comment on it. If you're watching this on, you see the pictures. I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says Brooklyn. It's the Brooklyn Nets that my wife gave me for Christmas. But this leads into the thing that I want to start an alumni of all people that went to New York high schools, the public schools that are now around the world. And we're going to have something. I'm going to talk to Pam to put that on our website that they could register.
Well, that's a good idea.
I mean, and it's because I think the older I'm getting, the more nostalgic I'm getting, and the more I go back to my roots, and my roots are Brooklyn.
Well, Malcolm, when you're here in Las Vegas, you get a different perspective on things. Las Vegas is not at all like that, thinking about their roots. They think forward. And I have to tell you, we saw a film on their new Performing Arts Center, and it blows your mind. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I saw for Christmas we downloaded The Interview.
How was it?
Actually, it was pretty good, but I think if it wasn't for the notoriety, it wouldn't do as well as it did, and people wouldn't see it.
So it stunk, in other words.
No, it was okay, but parts of it were silly.
Well, the trailers that I saw like a month or two ago, I thought the movie was going to be a bomb. It looked stupid to me.
Well, it could be, but it wasn't bad. But it will do much better with the notoriety that it received.
Yeah. I like when you say it wasn't bad. What does that mean? Does that mean it's good or just wasn't bad?
It wasn't bad. There were parts that were funny, but then you're like, they do well together.
All right,
John
so
Franco
not
and Seth
enough to
Rogen.
cause an international furor.
Well, I mean, if I was Kim Jong-un, I'd probably cause an international furor because they make him look pretty foolish.
Yeah, well, that guy's a jerk anyway, so what's the difference?
Yeah, but then some people say the same thing about Obama. If you listen to Fox.
Fox? Yeah. But what about CNN?
No,
They're not that kind to him either.
If Obama sneezes, there's going to be a commentary on Fox. Did you see the way he sneezed? He sneezed and he bowed his head to the left. He's always going to the left. And did you see the way he blew his nose? No matter what he does, they go the opposite.
Well, we have a mutual friend that blames everything in the world on Bush or Reagan, right?
Well, our mutual friend also blames the crucifixion on Bush.
Yeah, that's a good one. How do you pull that one off?
It was one of his family, I know. But now this is going to be an interesting year because maybe Jeb Bush is going to run for president.
Well, I don't know about that. He doesn't have enough of a popular base throughout the country.
But Bush against Clinton. Does that sound familiar?
No, I think Clinton is a shoo-in, and I think if she picks Billy as her running mate, she'll win hands down.
But can she? Because then he's one step away from president.
Well, it's legal. You know, there's no restriction on VP running. Only president.
Right. But what happens if something? But what happens if something happened to Hillary and then he becomes president? Anyway, Stan, wish everybody Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year, Malcolm, all the guys at the station, including Mike Horn. And that's about it.
I think Mike's listening. And listen to our repeats of the show, which is Saturday and Sunday. So if you haven't heard the show, you can tune in Saturday, I think it's 2 p, and Sunday at 5 p, or go to www.viewfromoverhere.com. Stan, be careful. You're in Las Vegas. It's very dangerous out there.
Oh, by the way, I figured out how to get the program on my iPad first today.
Fantastic. As they say in Brooklyn, mazel tov.
Oh, yes, thank you. All right, how many seconds do we have left according to Paul?
I don't know. Now we have 30 seconds, so you can say goodbye to anybody.
30 seconds, so we have 30 seconds to squeeze out something. What do you want to squeeze out, Malcolm?
I just want to wish everybody a happy, healthy New Year. And you hear the Old Lang Syne in the background. I wish Marilyn a Happy New Year. Don't drink too much. Don't pick up any strange women.
I'll remember that.
And we'll see you.
Before I sign off, say hello to your kids and to Anna.
Okay.
And see you
next year.
When we get next year. Thank you.
Okay, kid.
Because that was your theme. Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High Definition Sound. Log on to www